Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a good Wednesday, a good week. I thought it was about time for an update video because it has been a while. Trying to do them every month, but I can't honestly remember when the last one came in. So I was getting ready this morning, getting ready to start the day, and thought it's time to chat. So yeah, as you can see, I figured it was time to be back in the room, get into the inner sanctum, which is weird if you're in normal life, but if you're in YWAM, this is where you get to express yourself. So yeah, got all my books in order a couple of weeks ago. And as you can see, let's check that out. My bed's that top bed, that's empty, and that's empty, because we are definitely in a season of transition at Urban Key. A month ago, I had a different roommate named Martina, who I love dearly. She's from Finland, and she has just moved to start working in Sweden with YWAM based there in Linköping. Great doing stuff there with training schools, and it was hard to see her go because we've been roommates for 2 years, 3 years, 2 years probably. And my other roommate, Lindsay, is back in Louisiana in the States. Renewing her visa until January. So I got a new roommate, Kim, and Kim left yesterday. Kim is from North Carolina in the States. She left yesterday to go on outreach with the July DTS crew with a couple of other leaders and the 7 students. So they are going to Nottingham in England and with the team that we've planted up there. And then also they will be in Spain and Greece over the next 2 months. So keep them in your prayers. Definitely not going as much as I have in the past, leading teams and working with teams, but amazing to see people go. So yeah, I have 2 months of a bedroom all to myself, which in YWAM is like a miracle. So beyond the feelings of missing people and being sad, I'm excited to have extra space to just be able to process and be with God and find some alone time and yeah, see what this next season continues with. So that's as far as schools. We have a new school starting next week, our October DTS, which about a month ago we only had 3 students for. We were having some, it's just been a quiet season. Normally October has 12, 16 students, but this time we just had 3 coming in, and then we had a question about our visa renewals, and we have just seen God so faithful in provision and in bringing in students to where now we have 9 starting next week. It's going to be 8 girls and 1 boy, a couple of Europeans, a couple of Brazilians. Just amazing opportunities to get to know them. So be praying for them as we start a new journey of an October training school, full on, and just seeing what we're going to do with them. They have a heart of discovery for this school, a heart of going deeper into heart things and not just head knowledge and not just understanding concepts and themes, but really seeing what God's heart is in that theme. So I have the opportunity week after next to share on grace and law and God's heart in those things and how we motivate and connect to Him and what that means and how we live in grace and not law. So it's one of those topics that I'm continuing to learn a lot in, and you feel like you don't necessarily have the the authority to teach into all of it, but I definitely know that God has been gracious to me and taught me and loved me and had so much patience with me, and I feel like I'm walking out of law in a way that I worked most of my life to do and to see and to strive. And so we'll see how that shapes up. On that same theme, next week I have the opportunity to go to another YWAM base here in England, in Bristol. I don't know if you know about Bristol. That's actually where George Mueller, he's German, so George Mueller is from. All the orphanages and working with crazy faith provision miracles in the midst of working with hundreds of kids there. There's definitely a legacy of Christ in Bristol, and we're going to make it work. I'm sorry my hand is shaky, but I thought this was it. Let's not ignore the obvious. So yeah, going to be in Bristol next week teaching on identity. I head that way on Sunday. So a whole week on identity. So be praying for that because it's probably the thing that my heart beats for the most, identity and intimacy with God and how knowing who He is reflects in knowing who we are, which actually allows us to be the freedom of who we are versus who we think we are. So there's going to be a lot of elements in that, just praying through that these next days and seeing what direction we need to go, what directions to stay away from in this school, and just praying for them. They have 3 students there, so going to go bond with the Trinity and just hang out with friends. And yeah, it's going to be fantastic in Bristol. What else is going on? So many amazing things that I just want to kind of rapid fire update you on. If you've been praying, you know that we're in Southwick on the 1st and 3rd weekends of the month. And it's been amazing just seeing what God is doing there in building relationships and just working so closely with local church, which is very much my heart, and being released into that this year in a way that is more steady, learning so many new lessons, because growing up in church, you were in all the youth activities, you were in all the things, but within YWAM these last 8 years, we've been more in the training schools, and then and then in outreach is connecting more with youth or with different things. So kind of learning so many lessons from the ground up of just service and putting out chairs and cleaning up after people, and the fullness of what local church looks like has been just amazing and humbling to be a part of that and to build relationships there and to see God's love in just the way that He is answering prayer. I can't remember if we mentioned on a Friday night we do Fusion, which is about 4 to 11-year-olds, and then after the 11 there had been an age gap where we didn't have anything running, and now we have started running what we call Fusion Extra again, and we had 11 girls these last 2 times, like 8 to 11 girls coming in that are 12 years old, and just being able to bond with them and relate to them and love them and show them what passion looks like, show them what life with God looks like. It's been amazing. So also getting to work in worship and getting to teach in Sunday school and just do life with people. I've been hanging out and doing movie nights and cooking and all kinds of just life that's a different way in Southwick, being able to bless people there and have a presence there and just see God answering prayers there. So Southwick is going amazing. So keep praying for all of that so that we could really see the fruit that will remain there. One other thing I wanted to throw in before I share a little bit of personal stuff and prayer stuff, I hope you're still with me, is Salvation Army. We've been with them at least 5 years, maybe going on 6 years, doing the drop-in on a Tuesday night. Still going great. We were there last night and getting that chance. We have a prayer room, and then we have the hall where everybody is doing hot meals and just chatting and creating a safe place. And God has just been reminding me every time we've gone that the idea that sometimes it's routine for us to go and serve, or it's routine for us to go and give food and pray and try to get into conversations that feel like sometimes you're with walls, and it feels like sometimes you don't see fruit in people's lives that have so much addiction, so much pain, and so much stubbornness in a lot of ways, or so much independence in the way that they move through life. But 2 things that God loves them so much, and just pouring out that love into our hearts as workers and servants, but also the fact that routine is something that we take for granted, that actually for them to come in every Tuesday night, know that they can have a shower, know that they can have clothes, know that they can have a chat, know that they can just sit, and actually the fullness of the presence and the peace of God and the joy of God and the life that fills us is something that they are craving. It's something that they don't know in their life. And God was just like, don't take for granted the fact that you carry me. Don't take for granted the fact that people want to come into contact with me, whether they know it or not. That people come not just for food, but they come to be safe and they come to be loved. And don't take for granted that routine. Don't ever miss an opportunity. So that has been something on Tuesday night that's just been rocking my world, to not take for granted the routine and the impact of the routine in people's hearts and lives. And then on Wednesdays every week now, we're doing something called hair and nails. And it's just to really bring out beauty in Harlesden. In our area, we've got a lot of men and women that are coming through right after the school run, and they'll come and do face painting, and kids will do face painting and get their nails done for women, and free haircuts, and we're learning so much. It's definitely taught me that in a deeper way, I just don't like doing things that I'm not good at. If you ever live life with me, you are aware of that fact probably. But yeah, just having to really try with nails and learn the process, and then actually convince myself that I'm better at it than I think I am. So it's just been a lot of practical learning as we step out and do that, and just build relationships with people, serve them teas and coffees. So it's been amazing. So that's every Wednesday. Just continue praying for relationships with Salvation Army and these hearts and minds of people to be open and really be broken away from addiction, but also to create this beauty and to release this beauty in people's families and in their own lives and in everything that God wants to do for them in purpose and in growth. So, yeah, just as far as prayer things, this year has definitely been a year of learning to trust, a year of learning new things, a year of learning deeper lessons, like really deep, that are hard to put into words sometimes. And which is probably why I don't write or don't say so much. It gets up here. But if I was to say kind of two words that I feel like God is doing, it's this idea of trusting Him in order that He would be my protection, in order that He would be my defender, in order that He would be everything, in order to trust Him and not always work out what April's going to do or what April needs to do or what's expected of me, but to actually listen to His voice in the midst of that. So that's been this journey of discovery in the fact that I'm not leading schools in the same way I was, or I'm having to do different and deeper things in finances and admin that I am capable of, but I don't necessarily carry with a heart that wants to do well and wants to honor. It's sometimes wanting to escape. And so I'm just seeing that in my heart earlier this year and exposing that, and then going, God, I want to love this. I want to enjoy this. I want to discover what joy actually looks like. And I also want to come in line with your heart and your perspective, that it's not just I like this and I'm good at this, so I will do this, but actually knowing that so many things more than my vision have purpose and have meaning and have importance, and that God wants to use the smallest detail to train. I have this habit of making things very religious or spiritual, very broad and vague, and at the same time that's amazing, and I see so much of God in that. I can see Him training in the details and getting in the details. So yeah, that's a little bit of where we've been kind of personally. Just continue praying that I would enter into that trust, that I would enter into that rest, that I would enter into the fullness of that, because with that there's been this awakening in awareness of the warfare that we stand in, not just as missionaries, but also or not just as Christians, but also as missionaries, standing in the front line and looking at mindsets that are against God, taking every thought captive for ourselves, but also for the people that we work with and the people that we encounter. And ministers in general, all of us as Christians, we live and we work and we serve and we feel the attack. But those of us who take a stand and say, no more Satan, no more distortion, no more degradation, no more deception over the bride, no more deception over this land, no more attacks, no more death, that we stand up and we say that, it's like putting a target on our back. So just continue to cover and to pray. Sometimes when you don't know what to pray, just ask Holy Spirit and He'll tell you. He says that in Romans 8. So just continue to pray for us as we stand, as we learn, as we welcome new students, as we do. And yeah, continue to remember just financially, if God stirs it in your heart. I'm constantly needing, breakthrough in that area. God has been so faithful this year, and I've seen so many finances come through, but there is an element of just needing more consistent monthly or one-time gifts. So please just let me know if you would want to, and I can give you all the information. Even if it's £10 a month, $10 a month, or if it's $50, or if it's $100 a month, anything that you want to sow into the kingdom here, and into my life individually, God will bless abundantly, and I just thank you so much. So I pray that God would speak into your hearts and bless you with no condemnation, but if that's something you'd want to do, to tithe or to bless or to go above and beyond and just see God's fruit in your life. That's what I'm thinking. So continue to pray for England within Brexit and within a lot of the struggles and the reality of Europe and just what we're fighting here in Europe, and the deception and the distortion of so many things that people are running toward themselves versus running toward God. So we want to see people running toward God, and continue to pray for the States and remember all of you wherever you are, just keeping in mind so many of the natural disasters and Las Vegas, which was not a natural disaster but was a decision that was made, and just reminded again and again of Isaiah 60, that arise and shine like the dawn, For the Lord has shown his glory upon you. The people are covered in darkness, and the world is covered in darkness. But the light will shine upon you, that the glory of the Lord will shine upon you. So that's my prayer for myself, but also for us as the bride, that we would shine as Jesus has called us to shine, as the Spirit moves within us, that we would shine, not in fear, not in pride, not in, that we wouldn't shrink back, but we would shine. Because the best is definitely yet to come. It's going to get darker, but the glory of the Lord will shine upon us. So yeah, I hope you were blessed. I hope you stuck with me through the whole video. Please pass it on to people that you know want to stay connected and want to hear. And I apologize again for the shaky hand, but love you guys. Bless you. Keep praying, keep asking, and please feel free to get in touch if you need anything, prayer stuff, questions, or just want to know more detail. I'd love to share with you. So bless you. Talk to you soon. Bye.